so you can
Shall
start,
I?
sister. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. I'm brain dead today. I'm sorry.
Well, guess what? We are back, and together we are the Bad Betties, and you are watching the Petty Betty podcast, starring
Woo!
the blue and lonely Acid Betty and
Aww. And the green and highly favored diabetes.
highly favored,
No, well, choice words, choice words.
highly
Wh-
flavored. You meant to say flavored, F L
if
A V O R
if
E.
you were a bag of chips, what would your flavor be?
Oh, well, I'm on the new Buffalo. What is that? A lot of the Buffalo Cheez-Its. So we're going down that route.
Buffalo Cheez-Its. Wait, okay, sometimes, and this is just my own opinion. Sometimes I look at chip flavors and I'm like, not everything has to taste like something else. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
sometimes a classic chip can just like do it for me. I don't need a chip that's tasted like grandma panties or like, some random flavor buffalo underground buffalo ranch from fucking I don't know, but the original
See,
Buffalo Wild Wings. Like I don't care about
so you're
that.
trying to get rid of the Pringles and Doritos business, basically, because that's what they do, is their
Ca-
chip flavored 24 different times.
Capitalism must be stopped.
Pizza. I love the pizza flavored Pringle. Not Pringle. Yeah, Pringles, right? In the tub. Yeah. The pizza flavor one.
Grow your
I like
wild.
I like the random flavors. I mean, I haven't had those in literal decades, but
Do you ever eat the Unts chips? I think it's called Unts, or it's UTNS or something like that. But
Uts. Uh, Uts.
uh, yeah, Utz. Do you ever eat those?
Yeah, I think they're like a New York, Philadelphia, East Coast thingy madigi. I'm not really sure where they're from, but I think they're East Coastian. Yeah,
Oh, sister,
yeah.
support local.
It's not
Support your
that
local chip,
local.
your local chip factory. No, they have a hot honey barbecue or a hot honey flavor chip, and that's as crazy as I'll get. I haven't really gotten to chat that much with you this week, so it's kind of just like our little weekly catch up. But I know we have a lot to talk this
But we
about this
did chat.
episode. I
We
mean,
talked like 2 days
yes.
ago.
But I also I feel like I usually talk to you at least like three times a week, and I only got to talk to you like once or twice. I'm gonna start with my thorn first, just because I feel like I usually start with my rose, but I feel like I'm in a good mood today, so I kind of want to keep it going. So I think my thorn for the week would be oh my God, I okay, so this is partially also my fault, so I do take a little bit of responsibility for this, okay? But I needed an insulin refill, my prescription that I have to have.
Oh yeah.
And at the beginning of this year, I pay out of pocket for my health insurance. That's what we have to do as, freelance artists. And I pay out of pocket like a really high premium every month. But this is a new insurance, and I had been with the same insurance program for like 3 or 4 years. So this is brand new, and it switched to my PCP, my primary care physician. Well, I had kind of like a backlog of insulin that was like quantifiable through the pharmacy, so I didn't have to like get my doctor to refill that prescription recently. So I had just a bunch, but that bunch slowly dwindled out, and it was time for me to have a new prescription. So I went to contact my new PCP that I haven't used yet, which, mind you, it is almost the end of this year. So I haven't been to the doctor yet this year, which is partially my fault. But when I called to make an appointment with the PCP, turns out that they're a hospitalist. Do you know what a hospitalist is?
Is that like a constructionist, someone who tells you think they're one thing but they're another?
Wait, what's that supposed to mean? Are you coming after Lucy LaDuca?
No, I'm coming after fucking chakra. Meaning, like, is this someone who you think is going to be like a designer, but actually they can only like sew? So is that like someone who can only give you aspirin and Advil and tell you, "Oh yeah, your ankle must
Well,
be sprained or something,"
similar. It's
right?
someone
Like
that
they
can
don't.
only see you if you're in the hospital, like an inpatient, like
Oh,
person. And like I was like, oh, I did not realize
got
that.
it.
So when my like insurance advisor that set me up with all of this like set me up with my new doctor, they didn't realize that they were hospitalists. So I couldn't see them because I'm not in the hospital, obviously. So getting that prescription filled has been hell. So I ended up doing like a virtual visit with a doctor through my insurance. And today I called because it's day two of not hearing anything from the pharmacy. I called up at the pharmacy as soon as they answered, and they had no record of the doctor sending in my new prescription. So because it was like a virtual thing through an insurance company, I didn't know how to track down this doctor. So I had to deal with like insurance all morning this morning. It was absolutely terrible, like the worst way to start my day because it's for a medication I don't even want to take. It's one I just have to take. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Ugh. So that's partially my fault, but also it just put a big wrench in my day. And luckily I got it all situated, so it should be ready for pickup. But my rose is I watched a movie on my flight this weekend called Unbreakable Boy, which the movie itself was like it was here or there for me, but I am a Pisces, so I get very emotional with things. I'm actually a very emotional person. And it made me really cry. And the whole movie is about like how this dad's point of view on life has changed because his son. And then it got me thinking about my dad, who's dead. For those of you that know a little bit about me, you know, my dad died a few years ago. So I was like thinking of him this whole entire plane ride. And then if I think too hard on something, it affects my mood for the rest of the day. So I was kind of just in like a gloomy mood that day. And when I went to my gig that night, I'm gonna start crying talking about it. Oh my God. When I went to my gig that night, I had this sweet person come to meet and greet, and they gave me this Harley Davidson t-shirt because they used to work for Harley Davidson, so they get like a bunch of like free shit. And Harley Davidson was my dad. Like my dad had a Road King. He was one of those guys that would like buy old bikes and then refurbish them and then sell them again. And they were always Harleys. And so I felt like it was like a little gift from the universe too. It like really did something to me, and it like changed my whole day. So that was my rose of the week. And now I'm done
Cool.
talking. What was your rose and thorn, sister?
Well, my rose,
Hmm.
is that I don't know if it's technically fall, but in my book it's fall, and that means Halloween is here, and I'm so freaking excited. So like I've been itching to
Yeah.
take out my Halloween decorations already. That
Well,
is
you have
really
some.
my rose. I'm so
Okay.
excited. I know I have some, but I got a lot. I got a lot in the shed. That is what my shed holds, is like boxes and boxes of like these massive Halloween decorations. And a lot of McGriddles knows I've got like florals and all kinds of decorations for the inside of the house. I really go all in, but it takes me like a long time to decorate. So I usually start August 1st.
Do you have one of those like 10-foot skeletons?
No, but I do have like a 16-foot Grim Reaper.
Ooh, that's sick. A grim
So
steeper. A grim steeper.
no, it doesn't steep tea. It does smoke though. I got it. I have like a smoke. I put a smoke machine with it to where it smokes. The neighborhood kids actually are so funny. They like freak. They get so psyched out by the sound and all the decorations here that anything freaks them out. So then like just the timed smoke machine like made a kid just, like cry at the
Good. Your
front
plan
door.
is
I thought it was
working.
so hysterical because I was like, that's just a timer. Like it's just going off when it wants to.
Wait, so do kids
Um,
actually trick or treat? Do kids actually come and trick or treat at your house?
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God, is that I didn't know that was like really a thing that kids still did. I thought everyone was too cool for that.
And also though, because my house is kind of like at a not an intersection, but it is like a place where a lot of people have to drive by to get to a certain neighborhood.
Hmm.
They see the decorations for at least a month, and so I think they'll drive to my house for Halloween. There's people who I saw taking photos like in front of my decorations. So
That's
I think
sickening,
it's kind of like a
bitch.
neighborhood thing. I mean, you've been to my house; it's lit up, but like at Halloween, the whole thing is like lit up and crazy. So
Yeah, and you have more
yeah,
tombstones than the ones you already have in your backyard.
yeah. You saw I have a grave. I have a graveyard. Um, I don't know. There's no point in me taking the graveyard, like breaking it down and putting it back out there. So I just leave the graveyard up because
I'm
I think it's
surprised that
fabulous
like
having a
animals
graveyard.
don't
I think it's
destroy
cool.
them. I'm surprised because they're all foam, so I'm surprised like things don't like eat them or try to like destroy them.
They were eaten when they were stored in the shed because animals were in the shed trying to keep warm. But
Mm.
they're not. A piece of styrofoam out in the wild is neither good nor something to keep them warm, so they're left alone. They
So
just chill out.
you're
My
technically littering the environment with foam, with styrofoam because it
no,
doesn't
because they're
break
for
down.
decoration.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. Okay.
decoration. Speaking of decoration, when I got my house roofed,
Mhm.
there's this decor of what I thought was wood detailing in the corner,
Okay.
and they asked me if I wanted to get it painted, and I said sure. They took it down and told me it was foam. And so they were spraying it with spray paint, and it was soaking in the paint. You know how like when you spray foam, like it like
hmm
yeah. So like part of my house that looks like wood is actually like styrofoam, which I think is hysterical.
What in the theater production? That is crazy.
Yeah, I was like, this is very Hollywood, and they were like, well, I'm like, it's very Hollywood because it looks like wood, but it's styrofoam. Yeah. So,
Girl.
and my thorn, I guess, it's not really like a thorn. It's more of like a rose thorn. I don't know. It's like a removed thorn. Yeah, that's what it is. My
That's a
removed thorn of
I
this
like that.
week was that I got the apology that I had asked for publicly from Sharon Needles' ex-boyfriend, Alaska, and I got Willem explaining herself again. So I really wasn't accepted. You know, I wasn't expecting an apology from Willem, but I'm glad she took the time to explain herself one more time.
Well, and I
So
think we're
that
going
was
to
my
chat.
thorn.
We'll definitely chat about that a little bit today. I think that might be one of
Yeah.
our first topics of the EP today.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, their apology and the build up to it, I guess, because we did have something else recorded and we were just not airing it. And that was like when they did their first rebut, pretending like they didn't know what was going on. And then after that went down, a lot went down because then they all of a sudden knew how to use phones and they all of a sudden know they were like responding to DMs, and it was very interesting behavior. So yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna get to it.
it was almost like all the work they could have done over the 3 weeks that they said nothing was done in less than 12 hours. You know what I mean? Like all the energy
Yeah.
and all the
I mean, they
typing
found
and all
your
the
phone
messaging.
number and
Girl. Yeah.
they found your phone number and they found my phone number in 24 hours when they
hmm
needed to.
Well, I'm for you. I'm happy that they apologized to you, especially Alaska. Like I'm happy that you received that because I knew that
Yeah,
was
I mean,
very
we
important.
can get into it, but yeah, I mean, I asked them to do it publicly because I thought it was very abusive for them to talk and trash my name and try to ruin like my name and then privately serve up apologies and privately serve up these rants and craziness, which is what I got from like Willem. So I was just like, you tried to like insult me in public, you need to like apologize in public, and we'll see how well you do. Because f that. Oh my god, if she comes back, my battery or this and that, I'm gonna be like I wonder how much medication is without her insurance. Because usually the price is so expensive because of your insurance, because that's the price that the insurance negotiated. You realize that, right? Like that's why hospital like that was telling that story to Dia was that my last hospital visit for my butt was like $10,000 or something. But then I got a discount for paying for everything, and I got $9,000 taken off, so it only cost me $1,000. And then I discovered the minute you say when they say, do you have insurance? That's what I ask first. You say yes, and they ask you which kind. Then that's like the price tag and how they have to talk to you. Meaning, if you didn't pay your deductible, they can't do this. This is how much medicine is. This is how much everything is, and that's what they negotiated, and it's not necessarily the tea. So that's why when she was talking, I was like, how much is it without fucking insurance, girl? Maybe just buy it directly off the shelf.
Sorry, guys. My
Yeah.
prescription was delayed, and it was because my insurance wasn't covering it, which is crazy. And I'm like, what do you mean they're not covering it? Considering I went through my insurance like live fucking technology program to speak to a doctor, and what do you mean it's not covered? Like, what the fuck? And then they were like, well, if you want to pay out of pocket for it, you can, but you can also use a good RX coupon, which would make your total come out to $32. And like, so you're telling me if I was to use my insurance, it's going to cost more money than if I use a good RX coupon?
Please, please, if you can include this in the video, we've been recording the entire fucking time. I know people are gonna think I've been talking to myself the whole time, but Dia
What?
had no idea what I said. You had no idea what I just said.
What'd you say?
Obviously, she had no idea what I said. She wasn't even fucking here.
What'd you say, bitch?
Tune in, tune in to this Petty Betty podcast and find out what fucking just happened,
Are
bitch.
we sync? Are our brains synced together today?
No, I was gonna go on whatever. I went on my rant about insurance and bullshit and bullcockery.
Uh
And then
huh.
I gave my example as to how the insurance works in this country. And then
It's.
I talked about how it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wasn't sure if a lot of agreed with me because I was like, would you believe, I'll just spell it now, that it's probably, because he was like, oh, well, it's probably going to be more money if she's not covered this. And then I was like, well, would you believe it's probably going to be more money because she is insured, because that is the price that the insurance has negotiated, which means it's going to be more money. And
No,
then you came
literally.
on and you literally showed frustration with dealing with insurance because I was like, that's literally what you're paying for is frustration, and you're overpaying and you're not getting the service you want. And
Literally.
then in the end, I was like, if she, I said, why didn't she, I was like, I was gonna ask her how much it is because I was like, my example was like, bet you it's 500. I was like, let's say it's $500. I don't know how much that shit is. $32 is nothing, but I was like, let's say it's $500 a month. I assumed. I was like, I was like, but I was like, I bet you like insured, it's like 1,500 or 2,500, and that's what it is, like double, three times.
Yeah,
Yep.
girl, it's crazy. I'm like, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to say I'm paying out of pocket because I pay a premium fucking insurance rate every month. That is really
Yep.
expensive. And then when I go to pick up my
Yep.
thing with insurance, it's more expensive than if I didn't have fucking insurance. It's crazy.
That's what's going
Anyway,
dumb because my procedure was like thousands and thousands of dollars on the receipt, and they didn't have to list it that way, and they gave me a pay out of pocket discount, and it was like only $1,000.
well, and that happens with like ambulance rides. I saw this guy online one time talking about how he had to take an ambulance to the hospital and then they didn't have it covered through insurance. So he got a thing in the mail and it was like really, really cheap. But then he like called to talk to his insurance to see if they would cover any more of it because it was like a low amount. But he was like, if my insurance can cover more, then I don't have to pay it. And then because they processed the insurance, it ended up being like thousands more
Yep.
dollars or something
Yep.
crazy.
I'm sure they're like it
But
was 100
literally.
something dollars, and then they're like, "Oh, you have insurance? Sorry, it's thousands of dollars." Yeah.
No, literally. Anyway, okay. Let's get off the topic of this because it's going to put me in a really terrible mood again.
But you proved me right.
I mean, girl,
All right, so let's deal with this bullshit, which I don't want to deal with.
But guess what? We don't have to talk about it ever again after we talk about it today. We're
I
done.
mean, it'll be a thing. Well, actually, because like my canary, my canary in the coal mine, I call him. He freaking like, he was like, oh, well, they discussed, the apology here or whatever, and they said this or whatever, and they gave me this whole like, description of whatever the person said, and I literally just said, I don't care what people say.
Hmm.
And I literally said that's what got Sharon Needles' ex and William in trouble, was because
Hmm.
I don't care. Keep your
Right.
nose out of my fucking business. If you don't know anything
Keep my
about it,
name
out of your
out of
mouth.
your
But like, why are you
mouth.
chiming in? You're chiming in and you don't know anything. It's so weird.
Listen, I want to officially take a moment to apologize to Acid Betty. Listen, things have gotten out of hand. Untruths were told. Honestly, I'm I'm an acting producer on this podcast and this network. We never should have had one person's side of the story on without having the other person's story. I apologize.
Hmm.
I really hope that we can move on from this. If the dress wasn't burned up, I think it should be put in the Smithsonian. Thank you for being patient with us, everyone. And you know what? We're sorry. Period.
This was not something I should have tried to transvestigate. We have Luscious Massacre for that.
Her rates are fair.
It wasn't like I was relishing the chance to take somebody down, but I was trying
It,
to bring clarity to a situation which was none of my business. Two people had a dispute. One of them wanted me to get in the middle of it. I got in the middle of it. It's
And we
caused
shouldn't
you
have.
pain. It's caused me stress. And it didn't make anybody look good in the end.
So the next time anyone has a grievance or a personal problem and wants to come on our podcast, I'm
Don't.
sorry, we are not available. Don't come.
Wait, I'm glad we watched that because I didn't catch that last part.
I didn't either. Okay, what do you
Right?
think? How does that make you
I think.
feel, sister?
Oh, I loved the last part. The last,
Mhm.
was it 5 seconds, was probably the best part.
You just need to clip that
Was
and put
the
it on repeat.
Yeah, that's the apology we needed. They're not gonna fucking do it again. Don't do it again. How do I feel about it? Well,
Mhm.
it's cool that they did admit that it's cool that they did not admit that they were not going to publicly apologize. I made them publicly apologize. Alaska, outrightedly, we were recording last week, and then all of a sudden I got a text, a DM or whatever, surprisingly, because she discovered how to use her DMs all of a sudden, with a massive apology. And I just said, basically, where's my public apology, girl? Like, you were wrong. Take it to the
Right.
public. And I literally copied the same 3 or 4 words, whatever, to Willem as well. Willem, on the other hand, was like ranting and raging and giving me like crazy personalities. But should we report, or does it matter? The fact that, like, at one point Willem did find out how to get our phone numbers, and she called you one
Hmm.
day. We don't got to get into it. And then she finally got my number. Did I tell you all this? And she called me, or she texted
Hmm.
me, and I literally
Hmm.
was like, lose my number. Because, like, girl, like a month later is a little too late for you to figure out how to use the phone.
Right.
But how I feel about it is, I wish they would just redact the whole thing and stop monetizing off of their lies. If they, like, were able to edit the episode and just delete all of their their bullshit, I think that would be a better apology than I'm sorry. Uh
Hmm.
but yeah, maybe this will be the last time that they try to ruin another girl's name. And I want to put this out in the public, that
Hmm.
if you feel in the future, in the past, that Sharon Needles' ex-boyfriend or William has tried to ruin your name in the mud, reach out to us and maybe we'll transvestigate what they did to you, and we'll see if we can get a public apology on your behalf. Because, honey, Acid Betty did it once, Acid Betty can do it again. What are your
Oh,
thoughts, Miss
honey.
Diabetti?
Well, my thoughts are that, these girls think that they're the snakes, right? They think they can they can navigate around the situations and not have any repercussions. But little did they know they were also dealing with other
A
snakes.
snake. Yeah,
No,
bitch.
literally. But I just want to say, from my perspective, I was just supporting you as your friend, and I wanted you to get the resolution that you deserved, because I'm so tired of seeing girls' names being dragged through the mud just because that's the common consensus or like the common conversation around that person. So I am just
That's
happy
literally what
for
it
you.
is. I
Hmm.
hate to jump on your shit, but that's what annoys me, is these girls have massive followings, and the
Hmm.
massive following is just on a wave, right? So it's just following a wave, and the wave is like, I don't like this person, I like this, and they just follow it. And
Right.
they don't like fight it, they just follow it. And I feel the only reason why we got this pseudo apology is because we actually fought back, and the wave was like, no, girl, this ain't right, you ain't right. And just like William said, it
Hmm.
didn't make her look good, and she's only doing this to make herself look better, because she doesn't like to look bad.
We needed to give a shout out to our petty people that were up in the comments, telling them, like, for real, like,
Major
y'all. So you were a
Major
major part
props.
of
There was
this.
actually someone, I don't even know like who they are, what age they are, or anything, but there was a
Hmm.
moment where my sister was also kind of watching stuff online, and she was telling me that this person was going around and clown emojiing all these comments and chiming back to all these comments about, you need to watch a petty podcast and you're all these things. And I just had this vision of somebody wearing a cape and, like, just, I don't know why, just long, like, curly hair, and that was it. All I saw was like somebody like with curly hair and a cape, like doing clown emoji, and then running over here and going clown emoji. So whoever you are and your petty people, like, I live.
No,
It really
for
was you all,
real.
like, like chiming in and having our backs that really made it happen. So that's
Well,
the
yeah,
tea.
and it's nice because I feel like, especially in instances like this, there's not a lot of people that come to, especially your defense when it was all kind of happening at first. Now, once you were proving your receipts and stuff,
Yeah.
people were like really standing up for you. But yeah, it was just nice to see, and I'm glad that you got a resolution, and now we can put it behind us and not talk about it again, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
worse things going on. You know what I mean?
So with yeah, hello. So with this, I think what we're gonna do, and if not, this will be cut out. We're going to release on YouTube. I think we should do it on YouTube, the full extended version of the petty paper scandal. So it'll no longer cost you a penny, or a penny donation. And the only reason why is because we had a goal of $5 to donate to Chakra, and I think we surpassed $20, Daya, in
Honey,
donations.
that's 400%.
That is a massive amount of petty donations
That's
given.
sickening.
So I want to say thank you so much for donating, and also no thank you to Sharon Needles X or William because they donated nothing. And they're still monetizing on the story and making money on it while donating nothing. Since we've talked so much amazing things about people who construct garments, we thought that we would spend some time and actually talk about incredible artists who actually design and create incredible designs, garments, pieces, jewelry, hats, shoes, face pieces, and all the galores of things that inspire us, who we want to work with, who we might have worked with, and who we hope to work with in the future. Right,
Love
Daya? That's
that.
what we're going to get into.
Absolutely. Let's do it. No, I live. I'm glad that we're bringing some positivity to the Petty Betty pod, honey. Well, I'll start this shindig off by just kind of telling you my process, because I feel like my process is kind of how it defines a lot of like what happens with the work I do with the designers, if that makes sense. So when I think of, say, it like a runway for a drag race, say I'm prepping for drag race, when we get a runway category, I sit down, I make a mood board, I do like a full, basically kind of like lookbook situation that then I sit down with my partner and we come up, and he's a really good sketcher, like a really good fashion sketcher because he went to school for that. So he basically fashion
He's a sketcher. He's a good
sketches.
sketcher. I'm sketching.
He's a sketcher, honey, just like the shoes. But he like sketches these beautiful fashion sketches of what I'm envisioning from all of my references on my mood board. Well, fun fact, not all the girls do that. I don't know if y'all know that out in the Drag Race universe, but sometimes girls will come to their designers with a theme or something and be like, hey, what is something that you could create for me that fits this theme? And they kind of leave that up to the discretion of the designer. I don't do that. I don't work that way. I basically present to the designer
I
what I
would,
want.
I would love, I would love to live like that. I did that once with a designer that you're talk about, but I always come up with my own
Uh-huh.
everything, concept,
Well,
color, everything. Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
fun part
Sorry.
for me, is
Yeah.
the creation process. Like I love the like building part of it, but sometimes turnaround times are very quickly. So the first designer I want to mention today, while we're talking about designers we love to work with and admire, is Jeffrey Kelly. If you want to pull up some of his work, Acid, that would be fab, just so people can kind of get an overall idea. I know he's made stuff, I think,
Okay.
for like Miley Cyrus. He's made stuff for pretty much any RuPaul's Drag Race girl, but my favorite thing about him is if I have a 4-day deadline, he is going to bust it out and it's going to look exactly like the sketch. I mean, sometimes it is that quick of a turnaround time too. Sometimes you get hired to do something and last minute you need a costume. And, when people hire you to do this work, they don't think about things like that. So Jeffrey, I think that might be one of Aja's All-Stars dress from the second round. That's Angeria Paris Van Michael's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was Aja's. Go back to that one you were just on. That was what I think Angie won All Stars 9 in. Not that one. Go
Okay.
back,
Yeah.
sister. Go back,
Oh,
back, back. That one.
sorry. It's
You're good.
the purple.
No, girl. The lip sync look. It's orange. The orange one. Not that one.
Girl, you're talking like I watched the show.
I know. Well, this
I
one.
don't watch the
Pause.
show, and this
Stop.
is a Zigman
Stop. Stop.
knockoff.
Is it? See, I did not know that.
Got
I'm
it.
not aware of that,
The
but
Zigman. Yeah.
okay. Well, anyway, this is something he's done for Angie. And
It's
I just
beautiful.
love,
It's beautiful.
yes, and he's so good at playing with like textures. And if you kind of have something you don't fully have fleshed out in terms of design, like, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know exactly what fabric, but this is the color and kind of the way I need it to sit on my body. He's really good at, you know, he's really knowledgeable when it comes to the fabrics and how they work with the body. So I love Jeffrey. If you want to follow him or get anything made by him, his commissions are generally open. You can just shoot him a message.
Next up, we have Joshua Ponte.
Okay, so in season 14, for the finale performance, I wore this crazy bug look that had these kind of like wing-like tentacles that moved. And that was a Joshua outfit. And one thing that I loved about working with him was he will sit you down during the whole creation process and he will sketch as you're talking. Like I said, I usually present my designers with a sketch. He wanted me to come in and just basically everything I put on my mood board, he wanted me to talk out loud. And then he physically would like sketch it as you talked. And by the time I was done talking, which granted, you know me, I'm long winded. It probably was like 45 minutes by the end of it, but he like turned around the sketch and it was like literally what this photo looks like that you're seeing on the screen of the final product is exactly what he sketched. So Joshua is probably the best when it comes to like theatrical things and things that need movement or things that have kind of like things that you do, Acid, things that light up, things that have moving parts. Like he is not just a designer, he's not just a constructionist, but he is somebody that is like a true artist when it comes to
Yeah.
visual play. It's crazy. I mean, he's worked with so many people. He also is a performer, so he knows what it's like to like wear these like custom outfits. Denali, okay, this picture of Denali, this was a press week look based off of a Met Gala look. But do you remember granted,
Do
this was
you remember?
do you remember how heavy that thing was? It was so heavy, but it
Oh,
was like
I remember
encrusted
everything.
encrusted in those stones, bitch, and it looked so glam. So I love Joshua because he will give you the best, the best of the best, in my opinion. I think he is one of the best designers out there for real.
Yeah, he also did my Miley Cyrus look.
See, and then the only thing I would have changed about that is the boobs. I'm just kidding. Who else we got? We got Ruben Azaza. Is he
Yes,
next?
that's next.
Fabulous. I love Ruben. Um, Ruben is another designer very similar to like Jeffrey, that when I present a sketch, he knows exactly what I want. He's also, okay, hold on. Okay, this is the tea. What people don't get is these designers in general um, aren't just designers for drag queens anymore. They are getting reached out to by pop divas. And that's because these pop divas are drag queens. You know what I mean? So now that we're all kind of working with the same people, the designers have less time because they're working for, more people, but also they do tend to charge a little bit more than they did, let's see, maybe like 5 years ago. And that's totally understandable. Like things change, prices change, supplies and tariffs are always raising, prices. But one thing I love about Ruben is he keeps the price so minimal and his work is incredible. Look at that. I mean, I know he's like a mistress's right-hand man because they both live in Texas. So I'm very thankful that he was able to work on, he actually made my camouflage when Bosco slaughtered me at the burlesque number. He made me that whole outfit. And what's something you didn't see, just a little fun behind the scenes fact, is I took a lesson from Mother Acid Betty.
You stole
And
it.
No, I didn't steal it. I didn't steal it. But my little dress that I took off, the lower half of my garment, had a smoke machine. And I don't know if I don't think the batteries are working. No, they're not, of course. Oh, yeah. No, they're not. It's just dirty. And I'm moving around powder, probably from makeup. But
it's asbestos. It's not smoke. It's asbestos.
It's asbestos and lead paint. No, but it smoked. So he is really good for people that want something really high quality, but don't want to spend an arm and a leg because a lot of designers now are very, very expensive, but he does it for such a good price. So I love Ruben. Again, quick worker, and loves the divas, loves the dolls. Yes. Okay. So Zero Waste Daniel is out in New York, and I worked with them since season 14. My, drag sister Crystal Method actually put me in contact with them. But one thing I love about Zero Waste Daniel is they work with nothing but recycled fabrics. So anything you've ever seen has been from fabric or supplies given to them by friends. One time, so my very first entrance look on season 14 was made out of all these like yellow scrap fabrics. And um, the way he got those fabrics is he literally went dumpster diving behind an old fabric store that was just getting rid of a bunch of like discarded remnants and fabrics. So I love, love, love Zero Waste, not only because he is sustainable and he actually has like, good ethics and morality when it comes to his designs, but he also has his own shop front out in New York City now, out in Brooklyn. He's a Brooklyn diva. We love our Brooklyn divas. And you can go support him. He's made things for, do you watch Traders? Do you ever watch Traders?
Yeah. Yeah, he made
Alan,
that the wedding
yes, the
outfit,
Alan
wedding dress.
Cumming with the red
The
flowers. He
red
made that.
flowers.
Yes,
You
and
can buy these handmade flowers at his store. He has them all over his garments. It's kind of his one of his signature.
he does. And he also makes a killer sweatpant. I like live in sweatpants throughout the week when I'm not working. So I love him because he can make like everyday wear that's super comfortable, but he also can construct a cool look. And he's one of those girls that like I love bringing my designs to. And he's like, let me put my own stamp on this. But fabulous and the sweetest person ever. So give Zero Waste some love. Go support his store out in Brooklyn, New York. And
I think
the
it's
last
zero. It's at Zero Wasted Daniel.
Not
Is his
zero
handle
waste,
right?
not zero wasted, but zero waste. Like he doesn't use, like he
Zero
has no
Waste
waste.
Daniel, but it's Zero
Yes,
Waste Daniel. Wait, with the name Daniel at the end,
yes,
right?
all together, zero waste, Daniel. So he's fabulous. And then now my next diva is somebody I hold very near and dear to my heart, and I love working with them, and I've worked with them multiple times, and now they are getting so much love for their designs because they're featured on the new season of Project Runway. I think it's season 21. Miss Utica Queen, Ethan Munt, is one of my favorite designers because they are a drag performer. They know what goes into what it takes to wear these garments, but also two, I love that they're so good at accoutrements. Okay. So if you want buttons, if you want cool, ways to fasten shoes, they will figure out the cool and most eclectic way of doing it, but still staying true to your sketch. And they also work with like a small group of people occasionally to kind of finish, all the projects that they work on. And do you know Twink
Hmm.
Trash? You know Twink Trash. I brought them up to you before. We've talked about them. But they're like part of the house, and they're usually there helping create these looks. Made Bosco's makeover look this season as well. But I just love Utica because one, she's so sweet and easy to work with, but two, she just has kind of this forward way of thinking when it comes to design. And I feel like she's really good at mixing like surrealism and, um, classic drag culture into what she creates, whether it's for the girls or for, just ready to wear, like she's doing on the show. So Utica deserves all the props, all the praise. I love her. She helped me create my paper bug dress or my paper look for this season. All out of paper, mind you, except for like the base, which we've talked about on another episode of Petty Betty Pod. But her way of thinking is so distinctly her, and she can problem solve so well. So I love Miss Utica. I think we should have her on the pod. I think I've actually been chatting with her and she's reached out wanting to be on the pod. And I think next week is the week. So if anybody, any of our petty people are watching and have questions for Miss Utica, please type them in the comments of this video, put them on our Instagram, and maybe your question will be featured for Miss Utica next week on the Petty Betty pod. But those are the designers I love and that I work with very regularly and understand my process. Starting from the genesis of every look, you're like me. You want to kind of figure out the colors. You want to figure out the structure. You want to figure out the silhouette. Like you are very similar in terms of that part, the way that I am.
Yeah. Let's jump in.
Let's do it.
I featured people that I didn't work with.
That's okay. That's
and
okay.
some that I did. This is a last. Now, mind you, because I never worked with them, I may not even know how to say their name because I only know them from online. Like this one is one of my favorites. Their name is Kevin Germanier, I believe. They are French. I'm probably slaughtering his name right now. But like Zero Waste, all of the things that he makes are made out of previously used or recycled materials. He just recently costume designed the Olympics when it was in France. If you recall, there was a gold skull like main character. It started with a silver cloaked character with all kinds of belts riding a horse, and then it ended with this gold like sun character, but he did the costumes for that as well. But yeah, so I live for him. I met him when I was in France when we were doing Work the World. I don't know how many years ago. And I was a surprise. So unfortunately, I didn't get to wear any of his stuff, but he did dress, I think, Kimothy Chi and Violet Chachki and another girl while they were there. But yeah, he's like one of my favorites. I just love their work, and I think it's up and coming and new and different, and I think anybody who tries to recycle or reuse material is someone that we should pay attention to. So that's why he's on my list. I know, very interesting, right? Teetering on interesting.
Reduce, reuse, recycle,
Rihanna. Yeah, see, this is another one that I'm just, oh my God. That's why, I guess that's why it's such a weird thing, because like, okay, whatever.
Well, that's okay because like I think the petty people that are watching, like they do understand parts of it, but because we're so hands-on with doing this all the time, there's probably information that we're saying that feels redundant to us that most people don't know. You know what I mean? So it's okay that you're
Well, that is the real problem with me doing this, because I do find, yeah. Okay, this other artist, again, I don't even know what her name is or how to say it. But I wear their jewelry and I'm obsessed. It's all 3D printed. Some of it comes like plated. You might recognize it here on Daya's face as she's trying to look like me.
successfully looking like you.
Yeah, no, totally. I think we totally did a fierce swap. They have earrings and jewelry and all kinds of amazing things.
Can I ask you what specifically about their designs do you like? I mean, obviously you aren't designing what these things are, so what is it that attracts you to it, or like her specifically? What about her designs do you like?
I like it because it's different.
Is she here in the U.S. or is she out of the U.S.?
I think she's Russian. I'm totally guessing on that. Definitely not American. I think most of the people I like are not American. I think everybody that I talk about today is not American. No, they're just more creative. I feel like they're just a lot more creative. I find a lot of the designers and creatives here in this country are like they're like commercialized creative. So like their creativity is focused in a commercialized way that if it doesn't have an end goal to buy it or to make money, then it's not a creative venture they want to go after. Whereas I find these other designers in other countries are actually like artists and they're doing things that are different, and it's not because it will be a commercial success or I think that's the feeling I'm getting from it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. You know,
because like here in this country, if it like feels familiar and you will buy it, it's good. And I don't think that I just got fireworks. And I don't think that that's like what the designers and artists are doing in other countries. I think that we like to pretend that's what we're doing here in this country, but I think in this country we're very focused on commercialism. That focuses how we create art. Work it out. Okay, and so this designer
You're
is
doing
somebody
great,
I worked
sweetie.
with from Brazil.
So good.
I'm showing you their latest collection, which has some of this really cool reflective, like vinyl, diamondy cutout work that I live for, and a really cool like flower sculpture. The only reason why I'm showing you this designer is because in most cases, like we were talking, Daya, I
Uh-huh.
usually will sketch, design everything, and make everything myself. So I don't really have to discuss fabrics or anything like that because I just do it myself. This designer on the first, I was able to get like an all-star experience. So I looked at their runway stuff and I
Hmm.
kind of said, "Oh, I picked something that they had made. I picked two things that they had made, and I basically asked if I could have it in one, which created that pink thing that I wore here." But yeah, so it wasn't really like a design of mine. It was something that he had created, and I basically just asked him if he could make me something. They also made me my gold and silver, that alien look that I ended up wearing for the country hoedown, fun down, mow down moment.
Yes.
But yeah, I live for their work. They do a lot of like really cool. I guess what is that shape? It's like kind of what your shitty tattoos are. What is that called? Neo modern.
Oh, cyber
What is
sigilism.
that? Tribal? Neo modern
Uh,
tribal?
this it's
What's it
called
called?
cyber sigilism.
So I think that's why I think his stuff is cool is because it's the same has this follows that same
Graphicness.
visual, right? Am I wrong in
Totally.
saying that? Yeah,
No,
and I think that's
fully.
also why I like the jewelry as well, is because it gives that like our modern now version of whatever the hell we're doing right now. So that's
Yeah,
why I was kind
yeah,
of drawn to them. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And their at is it's
yeah.
Vitor Sinistra. Oh God, I'm slaying these names. Vitor Sinistra. That's their ad. Sinistra. They're Brazilian. How do you say it? How do you say it in Portuguese? Yeah, see, my Portuguese sucks, so that didn't help. Portuguese, whatever it is. All right. And my last designer is I was gonna jokingly be like, I've worked with this designer, but I've never worked with this designer either.
Okay. Okay. You can put it into the universe though.
um, um, I find
Love.
silhouette to be number one when creating or having a garment, and I find that Robert has discovered new and interesting silhouettes that are haunting. This is
This is
from a
Robert
recent collection. I live for this
Robert
hat where it's like
Woon.
someone, like a little body on top of her head. So cool.
So this is Robert Woon.
Um, and then, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The purse has like arms and it's so crazy. They did a collection where it was like flesh, skin, bone, muscle, soul. That was
Love.
really inspiring. I find their work to be incredibly inspiring, and probably top of the game of what we have right now. And I'm not talking about like drag. I'm just talking about fashion. I think that Robert Won, I think it's Robert Woon,
Uh-huh.
Robert Wun,
Hmm.
is you should be on your satellite, honey, because they are doing it right now.
Totally.
Inclusive. Oh shit, I'm still sharing this.
No, that's okay. I read the comments from last week and people were like, Dia talks too much and doesn't give acid room to breathe. And I'm like, I was kind of talking too much in the Bosco interview, but it's because that's the love of my life. I couldn't help it.
It was a Acid Betty interviews Daya and Bosco interview. It
Baby,
was.
you were just third wheeling. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was, because you want to talk about everything. You're like, and then in the hotel when we ordered water together, I was like, oh
Well,
my
I love it.
god.
I love these moments. I keep moments in my brain with everybody, and I think it's so important because that's why I love you guys. But one moment I have in my brain that I was going to bring up because it's in conversation with what we're talking about. Do you remember during promo week, we got in a heated discussion because it was also Met Gala week
Yes.
about Doja Cat and her Grace Jones kind of like iconography that she's going in terms of
Yeah.
direction with her style. So one thing I learned about you during that conversation was you have an intense knowledge of like fashion history. Like I love fashion. I consider myself like I know things about fashion, but you know the basis of like most designers. It's incredible. Like you're just kind of like a Rolodex. It's insane. Where did that come from?
Being around crazy people like Raja and some of my friends who have knowledge. In my costume career, a lot of my people that I worked with are major historians of. They really want to be fashionistas, but they landed in costume.
Hmm.
So in order to talk to them and have intelligent conversations, I had to know who and what I was talking about. Lucky for me, I had a lot of intelligent, smart people, around me teaching me things, why people were famous and what their cultural importance were of their time and why,
Hmm.
things like that. And I think it's interesting when, like, at that time after we had that fight, Cynthia was asking me some questions, and I found it interesting that I could like download some of my random fashion history, and then I kind of impressed myself. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't really know that I knew that about Chanel or this about whoever and this and that. But yeah, I feel like if you're gonna get into something and
Hmm.
you want to know about it, you better know all of it.
I agree,
That's
bitch.
me.
I agree. And like I said, like I found out from the master herself that week listening to you talk. But I was like, oh no,
Get
she
into
knows her
all of it.
shit, bitch. She knows her shit. Well, one designer before we wrap up for the evening, one designer that I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention, that made this amazing coat for me. And I wear it so much.
Where are we going with this?
It's so warm, and nothing has fallen apart. It's one of my only garments where things have not fallen apart
Oh,
after me wearing them
I know
multiple
where we're going
times.
with this.
But I think there's
Oh
this designer
look!
named Acid Betty that can put together a thing or two. And when I tell you, other than the fact that this thing's 1,000 degrees to wear, look at the dent in my
It's
head.
so warm.
Look at that dent that I just put from the fucking in
Oh,
my hat with the thing. I'm bald shy because of the dents. But other than the fact that it is like 1,000 degrees to wear, it is one of my favorite things that I own.
yeah.
I just think it's so cool and it's so me, but also so you. And House of
I live for
Acid,
these.
honey. I do too. Now I know why you wear them all the time. They're so cozy.
And they have a strong silhouette. So if you turn the lights off, just have a light on the back, and you can't really see, so you'll be able to tell just by us standing there who we are. I think that's very important when you're designing and putting something together to have a very strong silhouette.
Yeah, honey, that's pretty good for a crafty queen.
Right, not bad for a crafty queen. I guess we're gonna do our closing now. That was it. I hope we shared
Yeah.
a little bit into Daya's process and into some of the designers that inspire me.
Well, fashion is a language, and I feel like everybody's take and the way that they kind of divulge into fashion is very different, and I find it fascinating. Like I come at it from a different perspective than you, and but we both know what we're doing in some
I
degree or
don't know.
another.
I think we come at it at the same way. I think we're just separated by 20 years. I think we're very that's why we're friends. We come at it at the same way. It's just like we're separated by decades and references. That's it, girl.
Yeah, that's tea.
That is
And
it.
one of the many reasons I love you, and one of the many reasons I'm glad we have this podcast together. And with that being said, bitches, if you aren't subscribed,
We
hit that
have
subscribe
yeah.
button. Girl, it helps
And
us
make sure you
out.
go on to our website at the Bad Betties What is it? Oh my God, I don't even know our website anymore.
Thebadbetties.com.
Is it?
The
Oh yeah,
Bad Betty.
badbetties.com. Oh my God. Subscribe to our YouTube. You already said that. And our Spotify. Please, we want to get to 1 million subscribers, and we're only 900,000 away.
But our
So
petty people
click that
are,
subscribe button,
yes, our petty
and
people
don't
knows what's
forget
up.
to come back. Yeah, come back next week. I am the incomparable Acid Betty with my younger sister.
And the one that can't shut up, Diabetes. And together, we are
And
the
we'll see
Bad
you,
Betties.
and we'll see you next week. We know you can't wait to see what's next.
Want us to review your review? Then tag us, bitches. Hashtag Petty Betties.
At Diabetti or at Acid Betty.
The Petty Betties are watching you, watching us.
We know you can't wait to see what's next.
Want us to review your review? Then tag us, bitches. Hashtag Petty Betties.
At Diabetti or at Acid Betty.
The Petty Betties are watching you, watching us.